What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, November 11th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 18:40 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. So what you're looking at here is a tweet from Israel Katz. He's the new defense minister of Israel, and he's calling for Israel to take out the Iranian nuclear facilities in this tweet. So he wrote here, "In my first meeting today with the IDF General Staff, I emphasized Iran is more exposed than ever to strikes on its nuclear facilities. We have the opportunity to achieve our most important goal, to thwart and eliminate the existential threat to the state of Israel." Wow, guys. So the new Israeli defense minister, Israel Katz, openly calling for strikes on the Iranian nuclear program. This is absolutely huge. And this is the new defense minister. He replaced Yoav Gallant. Guys, this is very, very serious, and I think if Israel can pull this off along with the United States, it would make the world a much safer place if Israel and or the United States took out the Iranian nuclear facilities. But this is absolutely huge news. And also today, the U.S. military launched airstrikes in Syria. This was reported by the U.S. Central Command on their Twitter account. They wrote here today, U.S. CENTCOM forces conducted strikes against 9 targets in 2 locations associated with Iranian groups in Syria in response to several attacks on U.S. personnel in Syria over the last 24 hours. Wow. So this is huge news as well. And we also have some new video footage coming out of Iran showing some kind of unknown flying object over the skies of Iran. Some people were saying this could be some kind of a new cruise missile that Iran is testing. Some people are saying it was a meteor or UFO. I'm not exactly sure, but I thought I would just share that with you. You can see this object right there. Absolutely strange situation. And last night we had more high priority strategic aerial refuelers go overseas to Europe and the Middle East. So here you can see 3 KC-135 Stratotankers that flew over the Atlantic to Europe. We also had 2 C-5 Super Galaxies fly over the pond to Europe. Now, the C-5 Galaxy is the heaviest cargo plane in the U.S. military, guys. Okay, so they are moving a serious amount of hardware over to Europe and or the Middle East and all these aerial refuelers. So it's clear that the U.S. is preparing for something big, either in Europe or the Middle East or both. Now, we know that the U.S. has moved several squadrons of F-22s, F-16s, and F-15s, and actually last week they moved another F-15 squadron, and that particular squadron, the F-15E, is a nuclear strike fighter. Okay, the F-15E has its primary mission as a nuclear strike fighter jet, and it can carry the most nuclear bombs of any fighter jet in the U.S. military, more than the F-16s, more than F-35s. The F-16s and F-35s are only cleared to carry 2 B-61 nuclear gravity bombs, and the F-15E can carry 5 of them. Okay, so we moved another nuclear-capable squadron of F-15 fighter jets to the Middle East this past week. We also have satellite imagery obtained by the Federation of American Scientists showing 6 nuclear-armed B-52s on the runway in Qatar, okay, which is also very, very serious. So something is brewing, guys, and I'm very concerned about something happening before Trump gets inaugurated, because all of these countries, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China, have invested so much in all these different wars and proxy wars and different strategic moves that they've made over the last couple of years while Biden has been in office, that they've been able to get away with, basically. Well, when Trump takes office, things are going to change, and they realize that, okay? Putin realizes it, Xi Jinping realizes it, Kim Jong-un realizes it, Ayatollah Khamenei realizes it. So my fear is that they're all going to try to do something before Trump gets into office, okay? North Korea may attack South Korea, China may attack Taiwan, Russia may attack Lithuania and take the Suwalki Gap, Iran may launch another attack on Israel, or instead, Iran may supercharge their nuclear program and declare themselves a nuclear state before Trump takes office and before the U.S. and Israel have a chance to strike. Okay, now just a couple of days ago, Iran launched some kind of an EMP into space, and this was reported by Iran's own Space Force. Their Space Command tweeted that they launched some kind of weapon into space that would blind Israeli satellites. So they launched some kind of an EMP or anti-satellite weapon into space. And also recently, Russia launched 2 private Iranian satellites into orbit, okay? Those satellites could have EMPs on them, okay? This is not anything new, guys. In the Cold War, the Soviet Union had satellites with EMPs on them, all right? It's nothing new. It's literally just a satellite with a nuclear warhead attached to it, and they can basically just maneuver the satellite over whatever country they want to hit, and they just detonate that warhead. We also have a nuclear war command and control plane up in the air today, flying over Oklahoma City, doing loops, which is very concerning, meaning that it's communicating with some of our nuclear forces. And I want to update you guys on the situation in Ukraine. That whole situation continues to escalate even though Trump just got elected. So Trump had a phone call with Putin on Thursday, and apparently during this phone conversation, Trump warned Putin or threatened Putin not to further escalate the situation in Ukraine, and he reminded Putin of the massive U.S. military presence in Europe. And what's interesting is literally 2 days after, Russia launched one of its largest drone attacks on Ukraine, over 150 drones at Ukraine, after Trump warned Putin not to escalate further. And 2 of those drones actually flew into Moldova, crashed into Moldova, and Russia's main propaganda channel was mocking Trump's wife, Melania, and showing some of her naked or like sexy photos from when she was a model. And they were kind of like mocking her and putting like this weird like music in the background, basically kind of making her seem like she's basically a hooker, okay? Very, very insulting to Trump to do that on one of Russia's main propaganda channels that a lot of Russians watch, okay? And at the same time, Putin launching 150 drones at Ukraine. And then last night, Russia launched 13 Tu-95 bombers and 4 MiG-31Ks towards Ukraine and launched a whole bunch of missiles. So looks like Putin was basically giving Trump the middle finger, okay? Very disrespectful. And Ukraine's air defense said that today they shot down 39 out of 74 Iranian drones. Okay, so very, very serious. More drones today. And the Russian National Security Chief, Nikolai Patrushev, who happens to be one of Putin's closest buddies and advisors, said today that the U.S. and Great Britain are preparing to blow up underwater fiber optic cables that provide the entire world with internet. Very interesting. And Trump has offered Elise Stefanik a Republican congressman from New York the job of U.S. ambassador to the UN, according to CNN. Now, Elise Stefanik, she represents upstate New York in the Albany region. Okay, so Trump offering her a job as U.S. ambassador to the UN. That was Nikki Haley's job when she was working for Trump. And there's a new video surfacing showing this massive kaboom in Belgorod in Russia. Apparently a Ukrainian drone hit a residential building in Belgorod. I cannot confirm that if it's true or not, but it's circulating in Russian media. They're showing this massive explosion here hitting some kind of a residential building. So obviously Russia is building up the case for nuclear strikes on Ukraine by showing footage like that. And Russia is going to launch a new assault on the Zaporizhia front, according to Ukrainian soldiers. So the Zaporizhia front is southern Ukraine. They haven't really done much over there in months, or maybe over a year. So apparently Russia is going to try to push further into Ukraine from Zaporizhia. And Ukraine is still holding the Kursk region of Russia, and we're hearing that Putin has ordered his military to eject Ukrainian troops from Russian territory in Kursk by Trump's inauguration. So this way Putin has more leverage in negotiations. And the Russian Ministry of Defense claimed full occupation of the Kolosanivka village of the Kharkiv region of Ukraine. So this is like in eastern Kharkiv, pretty far to the east of the city of Kharkiv. So they're gaining more ground, guys. Russia is gaining more ground in eastern Ukraine, even though Ukraine is holding Kursk. And Russia launched more glide bombs at Kharkiv today. We're hearing that 2 people were killed and 5 people were wounded as a result of Russian shelling in Nikopol. And at least 4 people were wounded as a result of a Russian ballistic missile strike against a residential house in Kryvyi Rih, which is Zelensky's hometown. And a dam broke in eastern Ukraine on the Kurakova Reservoir. Apparently the Russians blew it up, and now the water level is rising at the Vavcha River. Ukrainian authorities have no access to the dam to assess the damage. So lots of stuff going on, guys. And here we have some video footage that was provided to me by a subscriber in San Diego, California. And it shows some kind of strange object in the sky, some kind of an unidentified flying object, UFO. He doesn't know what this is. I don't know what this is. If you guys have any thoughts or any comments, put it down below. Very, very interesting. As you can see, it's changing colors, all different types of colors, red, yellow, blue, green, and it's just like some kind of a weird blob floating in the air. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will continue to monitor all these events and update you accordingly, and if anything crazy happens, I will go live as I always do. I do have my 24/7 monitoring stream up right now, and I pop in and out of that stream periodically every single day. And also, I wanted to just wish all the veterans out there a happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your sacrifices. Without our veterans, we would not be able to live the life that we do here in America. We live in the safest country with the strongest military, and that's all thanks to the sacrifices of our men and women in uniform. So thank you, veterans out there. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.